Hello, hello. Testing the mic. I'm not sure anything can actually hear me, which is not great. Hello, hello. Testing the mic. Okay, it looks like it works. So this is something I do anyway, and I thought, why not just stream the process of remastering a photo, and it doesn't matter if anyone watches, but I'll have this then to use in the future. So I'm just going to get started. So we have a photo, as said in the stream description, of here we go. We have a photo of an American soldier from 1942 with a pet kangaroo, and this is just from an article on boardpanda.com. I'll link it in the stream description after the stream. But for now, let's get the photo up. Bear with me. Here we go. It's quite a good photo, actually. 1942. It's very clear photo. Nice depth of field. I don't know much information about the photo itself. It didn't say an awful lot on the article, except that this is a American soldier at an Allied base in 1942, so end of Second World War. So this looks like dried. Let's get my mouse. This looks like dried grass back here, dead grass, and this almost looks like sandy or dried dirt ground, which makes sense considering this is a kangaroo, and you'd immediately assume Australia. That in that. So first thing to do when remastering any photo is to work out what you're going to do. So in this case, the photo itself is actually pretty good. I think I'm going to just change the font size here. I think I'm going to fix blemishes, recrop and extend the image, add color, and then maybe tweak the lighting. So that's what I think we're going to do with this photo. The main thing that differs remastering from just restoration is just restoration. Generally, you just get rid of the blemishes, like these white spots here, creases in the photo, blurry photos, etc. But this photo is actually pretty good by itself. So I'm not too worried about doing any major things like that. Let's just hide this for now, and let's get started with fixing the blemishes of the image. So always make a copy of your original photo, call it the original photo, and then with the clone stamp tool, just fix these blemishes. I don't like to use an opacity of 100. I find doing that is a great way of ruining an upscale process by causing harsh edges around the blemishes. So we're not going to do that, but we are going to just come in here and fix these obvious blemishes. I mean, you could spend more time fixing photos like this up if it was for a commission. This one is just, as I say, off an article. I'm just going to go through with a clone stamp tool, see if there's anything that needs obviously fixing. Generally, it's the ones that stand out will be in the blurrier areas. So back here, yeah, there you go. Let's see, because spot that damage to your photo like this is obviously on top of the photo before it was scanned, so it will be very sharp in comparison to the areas of depth of field, whereas any blemishes on areas that are already have some grain and noise will be less obvious as an actual blemish to the photo, and it could be more of a detail in the photo. So you really want to focus on the blurry areas. This especially at the edge of the frame stands out massively, so we're just going to go to that, like so. Okay, that looks pretty good. So I'm going to name that as blemishes fixed. And we're going to get our list back up. And our next thing is to recrop and extend the image. So this recropping the image, the old way I used to crop an image for something like this is you'd have your photo and you'd crop it to something which looks pleasing to the eye. Like you'd get rid of all this area. You get rid of the areas which don't contain the subject, and you'd make sure your subject was relatively central, or following the rule of thirds, or whatever was visually pleasing. So you'd get rid of these areas, and you'd leave the area in the middle. that was the old way of doing it. An alternative way of doing it was filling all these areas with the clone stamp tool, or manually adding areas, or adding new parts of photos from other photos, and compositing that together to extend the frame. Now you can cheat, which is speeds up things quite a bit and gives new creative possibilities. The newest version of Photoshop has an inbuilt generative fill, which is quite good. It only does, I believe, roughly 1000 by 1000 pixels at max quality. So if you want to fill in an area of an image that is higher than that, then you're going to have to do it part by part, which you can do with various plugins, but yeah. Something I like to use instead, because I was using this before the Photoshop thing happened, and I prefer the older version of Photoshop, which is what I'm using now. It's what I'm used to. Is using DALL-E 2 to generate new areas of the image. So to do that, you want to look at your image, and you want to look at what you want from the image. Like in this case, the reindeer, sorry, it's been close to Christmas, so my head's caught up. The kangaroo, sorry, is quite far away from the edge of the frame, and the man is quite close. Simultaneously, the top of the frame is close and the bottom of the frame is quite far. And so generally we want to fix this by moving the frame in the green arrow's direction, so our subjects are more centered to the image. I mean, you could choose a subject beforehand and say, well, I want the kangaroo in the middle of the image, in which case you could extend the bottom, you could extend to the bottom right, making the kangaroo the center of the frame. We might do that. We'll see how it goes. I quite like the idea of them both being in the center, or even having just the handshake being in the center of the frame, and that's the focus. So we might extend all around a bit and then crop it to see what we like. Now the way I've set this up is I'm only displaying Photoshop right now, so I'll quickly I'll do DALL-E 2 generation off screen, but I'll show you the results. But before we do that, we need to prepare the image. So first things first, we need to extend the frame, and we could just do that quite simply with the crop tool, which helpfully has the rule of thirds lines on it, which helps us judge the frame a bit more. Generally, you want the subject or focus of the image to be on one of the cross sections of the grid. That's just a general photography thing that I quite like to use. So in this case, if we do this, the handshake is on the bottom right of the grid, like so. Let's do something like that. So we're going to have to extend to the top of the image and to the left, which I think will be good. And then we'll see what we do after that. So when you have your image like this, good thing to do is just to make a solid color layer. There we go. And the reason you do this is you want to know how big this area is, because DALL-E 2 has a habit of generating square images. So if we make a mask, a layer like so, we'll know what to crop it to after again. So hide that for now. And you want transparent areas of the image when you send it into DALL-E, because it will generate the transparent areas and match it with the non-transparent areas. So I'm just going to export this as a PNG. And we'll call it Kangaroo 2. And I know it's off screen, but bear with. Just going to go over to DALL-E 2. And we're going to extend the image. Something with DALL-E is that sometimes it gives you really wacky things. So you really want to generate quite a few results, so you can composite them in Photoshop afterwards and then find what you want specifically. Crop, edit image, subtract a soldier in the Australian savannah with his pet kangaroo. Generate. Just noticed that the stream title category is wrong. I would say that this is a I'd say it's educational content. Right. So it's generated some results. They're not great results, but I'll show you what it's generated. If if I just... Sorry, bear with me for a second. Here we go, Kangaroo. Into the folder, we're going to put DALL-E 2. See, the thing with the Photoshop generation is that, same with DALL-E 2, it only does by default 1000 by 1000 pixels, and that's just to save processing power on the server's part. Sorry about that. Are we... Hello, we're back. Okay. Hello, I think we're back. Let me just get the music back. Let me just check. Sorry, everything went down for a second there. We back? Yeah, yeah. Okay, so where was I? Sorry about that. It's the first time I'm using YouTube to stream, so not too familiar with how it works yet. Right. Back to Photoshop. And we're going to open up what DALL-E's done. We might have to generate a few more results if these aren't what we're happy with. So I quite like this one. I don't like that the horizon is skewed. It's like it's almost seemed to have done a fisheye effect. So I don't know what's going on there, but it's tried to keep the depth of field, which is good. So we're going to copy this image. Let me just check to see if the audio on the stream is working. Sorry, bear with me for just a second. Let's keep depth of field, which is good. So we're going to copy this image. Let me just check. It is good. Good out. So yeah, we're going to copy this. This should be 1024 by 1024 pixels, I believe. Let's just check that. Yeah, so that's what DALL-E 2 generates by default. 1024 by 1024 pixels, which for this process is actually fine because we're going to upscale the photo later. So you want to what I like to do is to copy the photos behind the, sorry, copy the generative fill behind the original photo, like so. I'm just naming them. So we know which photo is which. Some of these I don't like as much. Like, I don't know what's going on here. These are obviously some sort of tree, but everything looks dead around. So I don't know why there'd be three almost identical trees in a row next to each other. So I don't like that as much, but we might still use elements of it. So this background will be blurry anyway because of the depth of field, so I'm not too worried about it. Also, we might add some vignette or blur later on to draw focus to the kangaroo. So we just want a generally good result, nothing too amazing. Okay, we're going to extend the canvas size to 1024. We're going to move all our images in line. Like so. And this is where the blue square comes in from before. If we scale that up to the same size, like so, then we know how big the frame needs to be for what we judged before. Like so. There we go. And now this kangaroo is exactly where on the intersection of all the thirds that we'd planned before. Okay. So you have something like this. First thing we're going to do to all of the DALL-E generations is choose what parts we want to keep and what parts we don't. So I'm going to add a mask to all four generations, and then using a black paintbrush and while selecting the mask I can get rid of parts we don't like. So let's work from number 4 up to 1. So number 4, I like the trees. I actually quite like the background, although it's a bit skewed, but we can fix that. I'm not sure about these bushes on the left hand side. And the ground looks quite good. Number 3 here, I think has done a much poorer job with the background. Although some of this vegetation does look pretty good. So, especially on the left side here, if you can see that, this looks pretty good. So I'm just going to paint the whole, the layer mask, paint the whole thing black, which means we can't see it, and then change to the white tool and choose areas which I think we want, and I'm going to do this with a lower opacity so we can adjust how much we can see. Okay, so that bush is visible, and I quite like what it did with this bush, but I'm gonna have to tweak that a bit. Like so. I just want to work it until, I mean, that's not great right now, but we can fix that. Also, DALL-E 2 has seemed to have, in this image in particular, seemed to have added a very visible line across here, which I'm not a massive fan of, but we can blur it and try and fix that. So we have the original image, like so, and then we have the DALL-E upscale. In which I seem to have drawn a line directly over the thing, which is ideal. Luckily, I can just get the original. There we go. And then we tweaked some of the bushes, which this one on the left actually is pretty good, I think. Let's see what the next DALL-E upscale has done. Oh, actually, I'm not a massive fan of that. I quite like the lower half of this bush here, and that's about it. So we're going to just get rid of all that and doing the same thing as before. Just allow the base of that bush to show like that. And then the last one, again, isn't bad. I'm wondering if we can maybe overlay that somehow. Yeah, that could work. So we're actually going to do that. Just just going to do, I think we're going to do a darken overlay. It's the easiest way of doing it. And I really like this horizon and the trees, so we're just going to get rid of this foreground. Like so. There you go. And I'm also going to select the original image, and I'm just going to make a copy of it and liquefy it to move the horizon in line, because I don't like how it curves up on the left side. Let's see here. Just move it down. Like so. As you can see, it's not sticking up anymore. Yeah. Cool. Also want to make sure it is grayscale, because I know that DALL-E 2 likes to add colour. So there we go. That is the extended image. I am just going to convert that into a smart object, make a duplicate of that and rasterize it. And then we're going to just clone stamp this area down here, like so. Okay, so that is the image I think we're going to work with for now. We're still going to blur these trees a bit afterwards, so don't worry about that. Next step is the upscaling process. So again, that will be off camera. So I'll just do that real quick. First, I'll just save another PNG. I used to work in JPEG, but I found PNGs work better with DALL-E 2. So that's what I'm using. Kangaroo free. Okay. Apologies for any stutter in the stream if you watch this back, or if you watch now, which you're not, because I'm going to load up Topaz and it might cause my computer to be very angry with me. It may mess up the stream slightly. So I used to use, this is years and years ago now, maybe 10 years ago, a tool, I said it in another video online, called Waifu2X, which is an anime or art upscaler online, which is free. And then somewhat recently, I tried, I mean, I say a couple of years ago, I tried Topaz Gigapixel out because it was on sale, and I thought the results were very very impressive actually. It is not liking me using Topaz and streaming at the same time, I'll tell you that. We'll see if it wants to work. If not, we might actually use the backup of Waifu2X. So it does seem to be doing something at the moment, but again, if how much that is actually doing, I don't really know. I'll be honest with you right now, it's not looking good. I'm not sure if I need to re-update Topaz or not. It's stuck on a previous project that I was working on. We'll try saving it and see if it works or if it loads to previous projects. Because the preview on Gigapixel doesn't seem to be working very good, which is not ideal. I'll tell you what, we're going to do, we're going to use Waifu2X anyway. And then if this works, great. And if not, we have a backup and I can show you what it looks like. So just choose the file. Kangaroo free. 2 times, it's a photo, noise reduction, normal. There we go, great. Gigapixel's apparently done, which is okay. So we'll go back to Photoshop and load up what it thinks is apparently this photo, but it might be another photo. So I'm going to try topaz again. For now, this is the waifu 2x one. Like so. And if I just throw copy of this one over the top, and that's not what I wanted to do. And scale up with nearest neighbor, which is the default. Bicubic upscaling is crap, so please don't use that anymore. Sorry. So if I zoom in and toggle between the normal and waifu 2x, you can see it's done actually quite an admirable job. Can't speak. So that's okay, but I still want to get topaz working because it does a really good job on just a really good job on plants and leaves. But again, if it doesn't work, it's not the end of the world, so I'm not too fussed. I think the problem I have... actually, it might have worked, but saved it to the wrong folder, so let me just see that. I did a Christmas video about snow, and I think it might have saved into that folder. No, that's the Christmas mailman. Okay, we'll try it again. If it doesn't work, it doesn't work. And I'll fix it off stream. Here we go. There we go. In fact, I can show you this. Let me just change OBS's window capture to gigapixel. Here you go. Sorry about this, just adjusting the window. Like so. So this is gigapixel. This is I really like gigapixel actually, and it's running very slowly because I've got OBS running as well on the same computer. I mean, I get now why people who do this more have other ways of capturing the stream, but you can see here that it has many different ways of adjusting the upscaling of the photo, which really allows you to tweak things to exactly how you like them. It looks like, just from this, what we're looking at here, that the art and CG might actually be the best. We'll just have a look at the bush over here. We don't actually want to remove any blur, so I'm just going to get rid of that. So if you look here, I think low resolution has done a great job on his arm. So actually, yeah, low resolution's done a really good job on the arm. So we might save that and maybe save high quality as well for the background. Yeah, we're going to do that. So we're going to save high quality first. Save in directory, high quality, save. And then we're going to select low resolution and save it again. Save. Okay. Right. So I'll just bring you back to Photoshop. There we go. I'll exit Topaz. Topaz isn't necessarily better than Waifu 2X. It's just that Waifu 2X generally looks more, to me, it looks more stylized. There are even niche cases where you might even just want to bicubic upscale it, or even just upscale it nearest neighbor and then blur it if you're doing details that you don't even need to be in focus. If you just need it larger, I mean, it's just quicker that way. Anyway, so let's just make sure. Okay, so this is the original. This is Waifu 2X. It's got a dumb name, but it's actually pretty good. We're just going to open up we're going to open up the photos we just did. Pet Kangaroo, these two. There we go. So when I zoom in, you'll be able to notice what it's done. This was high quality, and the other one was low res. Okay, so let's go to the kangaroo. There he is. Don't know his name. Joe. And the original photo looked like this. Not exactly, of course, because this is a nearest neighbor upscale of the original photo. Oh, sorry. The window capture's got a bit screwed up. Let me just fix that so you can see what I'm talking about. There we go. So yeah, the kangaroo is low res, but not exactly the same as the original, but it's close enough because it's upscaled with nearest neighbor, which just enlarges each pixel dependent on how big the image is. So it's pretty good. default image. We've got the kangaroo. Waifu 2x is quite stylized, so it generally tries to work out where lines in the image are going, and you can see it's really well on the hand actually. And it sort of adds in pixels to blur it, but in the direction of lines is how I think it works, which works great on cartoons and art with defined brushstrokes. And in this case, I don't think it's worked as well in the hand. I think it's seeing too many lines there, but I think it's actually worked quite well on the kangaroo's face. Especially on the nose area here. And it's actually done a pretty good job on the bushes. Not amazing, but just taking the edge off a bit. So we might still use this as a base and then add some of the others on. So if we compare the kangaroo again, Waifu 2x is this. If we look at the kangaroo's face, gigapixel low res upscale looks like this. If I toggle it on and off, you can see the difference. So gigapixel generally does a better job of keeping the original details of the image. If we look at the hand, you can see Waifu 2x has smoothed everything out, and that makes sense because Waifu 2x is essentially just enlarging the image and then making the lines more apparent, because in the cartoons and such you wouldn't have as much individual detail. Gigapixel tries to keep the detail, but then some areas of the image get really noisy. So the hand I think is really good. The kangaroo, you can see the fur, whereas in Waifu 2x it blurs it. If I go over to the face of a dude, that's Waifu 2x, that is gigapixel. Now the face is blurrier on gigapixel because we had the face enhancement selected. It's preference, whether you like that or not, but gigapixel does do an amazing job of hair. I mean the results speak for themselves. That's Waifu 2x. That was the original. That's already a pretty good enhancement, and then you turn gigapixel on, you can see the individual hair strands. I mean, it's pretty incredible. That specific one, low res, has done a pretty naff job on the blurry background though, which is why we also did a high res, high quality upscale, which has kept the blur, but has tried to change the image more. It's tried to add colour, which is not great. If we look at the kangaroo here, it's sort of changed the shape of its face. And it's added some detail, which is nice. And it's added some detail to the fur, so it's done a good job. But it's if you look at the hand especially, you can see it's changed the shape of it. So there's before, there's after. Everything's been shifted slightly and it's been moved. It's not bad. This is why I always recommend you do multiple upscales with different things so you can mix and match them. And actually the gradient here on the thigh and the leg is better on this one. But I still would grayscale this. So just add a black and white filter to it and then merge it down. There we go. The background's way better on this one. we're definitely going to use that. We want to blur anyway, so yep. So it's really, I would say, just between high quality and low res, because Y32X just does not add enough detail. It's really good, and even if you added some sharpness to it, it would actually look pretty serviceable. So if you're using this, then actually it's not bad. So if you add some noise as well, not that much, Jesus Christ, add a bit of noise, add a bit of sharpen. It's not bad. It's not bad at all. If you saw that, you'd be quite happy with it actually. But I prefer gigapixels, so we're going to delete that for now. And we're going to use the high quality as a base, because that's the one I preferred. Overall, the trees look better, the hair looks... Actually, we didn't look at the hair. The hair on the other one looks better, we could fix that. The kangaroo definitely looks better on this one. So what we're going to do is add a layer mask to the low res one. And just enable areas we like. So the background looked better on this one, so we're going to keep that as the base, and we're going to go through and select areas we want from the other one, like the hair. Hair was really good on this one. There we go. Let's have a look at the ear. I prefer the other one. Let's have a look at the face. It's basically the same. Let's ignore that. Let's have a look at the leg shading. So this bit here I prefer on high quality. This bit down here I prefer on the low res. So we're just going to change that like so. So look at the boots. Boots look great. Let's look at the hand. The hand I think on the high quality was not good. Yeah. Yeah, let's get the hand, this hand. There we go. So look at the kangaroo. The kangaroo we preferred. So yeah, that looks about right. So look at this hand as well. This might add the other hand. Yeah, I don't know. I think there's a lot of detail in hands, and I prefer the low res one, which seems to have made them a bit more contrasty. I think I like that generally more than the other one. Okay, so that's going to be my upscale. So we're going from E. We have gone from sorry about this. I'm just trying to put everything on the same document. There we go. Yeah, so I can get rid of this one actually. So we have gone from the original photo to a fixing of the blemishes. Actually, that's not even that one, but we fixed the blemishes anyway. And then we extended the image using AI, and then we have upscaled the image. So the original, upscaled. So the next step I'm going to do is I am going to just make sure the depth of field is how I want it. So I am actually going to create a copy of this, and I am going to blur it with I like Gaussian blur, so I'm going to do that. And we're going to pick a nice something like maybe we will have a look at lens blur instead. Something like that. And we will just add a mask, and we'll do the same thing we did before. And add a mask. And just blur areas of the image that we don't need to see. Like so. So this background here will be totally blurred. You don't need to see it. We've upscaled it, which we don't really need to do for the background, but we did it anyway. It's important for the bushes and the kangaroo in the foreground. So you don't even need to see the background. So that's like, let's just get rid of that. This is already naturally pretty blurry, so I'm just gonna make sure this bush is in line with the rest of that area. That looks about right. And then the foreground is fine in focus. So you got before, after, before, after. Okay, and then next step is color. So how I like to do color is I actually I run it through a tool first that gives me a base color mask to use. So I'm going to use that, and then I will be back, and then we will manually paint the image. See, the tool I use is called, you'll find if you just search picture colorizer, and it does a pretty good job giving you just a complete base and a load of random colors to use. Generally, you're gonna have to find some swatches from photos that are similar and correct it, because it's not ideal. But I find that if you use some sort of way of adding color to give you an idea of what you want to do. It really does help speed up the colouring process rather than just starting from a complete grayscale image and having to do everything by hand. Oftentimes you see colorized photos people have done, and to be honest with you, the biggest problem with them is that they've just done big areas of the same color all over the image, and it doesn't. Photos never look like that. It's always different colors, so they've screwed up by doing that. So by starting with an AI colorization, you already get rid of that problem. And then if you do the boring thing of just adding a swath of color over the whole image, you've already got some color from the base. So I'll show you what I mean in a moment once the AI thing has done its job. And I have a sip of water. Oh, it's actually done a pretty good job on this one. Right. Okay. Here you go. So this is what the AI has done. The skin looks a little too tan for me. The shorts are the same colour as the skin. The boots are brown. The kangaroo looks pretty... I haven't looked up any images of kangaroos yet. We're going to do that. I'd say that looks like a kangaroo. And I'd say the environment actually looks pretty good. Except for this log over here, which is coloured tan. And maybe this background, which is greeny. I would say the savannah in Australia would be more brown. And the sky isn't blue enough for me. But this is what I mean as a base. So step one, scale it up. You can keep it nearest node by now. There's no point upscaling it because we're going to use this as a color template, not the actual be all end all color mask. So you just want to go around the edges and make it match. Like so. Okay, that looks pretty good. And then we go to the dude, and then we'll just see if it's close. It looks maybe a pixel too high, which is fine. That should fix it. Yeah. Okay. So what we're going to do, that's interesting. It's not done a quarter of the image. Not sure why that is, but we can fix that. We'll just fix that roughly with the clone stamp tool. Likely we're going to blur this anyway, so it doesn't matter too much if we're off slightly. The biggest thing is you have a change in colour, not the actual colour it is. I'll show that in a minute. So we're just going over here, the clone stamp tool. You want a difference in color throughout, like so, and that's probably okay, like that. So I'll make sure the rest of the tail's done as well. Come on, give me the right color. There we go. So yeah, it's done an okay job, and it's never perfect using AI for basically anything yet. Right now, AI needs a lot of hand holding to make things look good by a human's standards. Okay, so that's our base. Considering it was mostly generated by an AI, I think it's done actually a pretty damn good job. So what do we want? We want some templates, some color swatches, and we want a kangaroo, we want a soldier, and the Australian outback. And that is what we're going to use as our swatches. Okay, we've got kangaroo. We have a some soldiers, and we have the Australian outback, which I'm going to hide for now. So this color here from the AI and any tweaks you've done, call it your base, then make another layer and make that a color overlay. That means anything we do here on this new layer modifies the existing layer. So if this ground I wanted to be more green, I could just paint on, I don't know, 20% opacity green, but we'd still have the color variation from the other color mask. If you get what I mean. Not that we want green, because that looks awful. There we go. Right, so let's start with kangaroo. And it looks like kangaroo is mostly a sort of browny colour. So let's try and just give that the correct tone. And the majority of its body. As I said, I like to do this with a lower opacity, so I can work in a bit more variation. Looks like the front of it is actually a slightly lighter colour fur. So I'm just going to copy that and add that to the lighter areas of the kangaroo. Right, highlights. Usually the brain does a great job of filling problems, so don't worry too much if it's not perfect. The legs look like actually like a pale colour, so we're just going to copy that, go over the legs a few times with this paler colour, and the tail I assume is similar to the legs. And there we go. So before, after, and I think you can agree the after stands out a lot more. Similar to this soldier, I think he's slightly too tan, and there's problems like the ears aren't the same colour as the rest of them. So I'm going to pick a generic colour, generic random soldier colour, like so, and I'm going to make it more, slightly more saturated, and I'm going to give our soldier a once over. Like so. So if you look down here, there's some areas which aren't coloured by the AI, and this is because it doesn't do great on details usually. But there's so much colour variation here, which it has done, that we want to make sure we leave as much of that in as possible, because that does a lot of our job for us. His knee's the wrong colour, like so, and we're going to just add a bit more pink, back of the neck, make it look like he's caught the sun. Maybe just on the back in general. Add a bit more of that. So we've got before, before and after. On the ear as well, actually. The ear will catch sun. Just going to fix these details like the hand as well. Okay, something I like to do with we've done the kangaroo and we've done the soldier. So the subjects are done now colour wise. We can delete the templates. Something you get a lot in things like this is you get problems with the colouring. You can see this these artifacts here in the colour. It's almost like a boxy thing. You can fix that very easily. You just take your base and you add blur, because the detail is not from the colour, it's from the original image. So if you just add a small amount of blur, you can see all that goes away, like so. There we go. There we go. So those are the edits we've made to the original colour so far. I like that. And we are going to create that, make that into a smart object. So before, after. Last thing we're going to do is just sort out the overall image's color to match the to match this. So what we got here? We got a very red ground, and this is very not a red ground. So let's see what we can do here. We can fix it up in a bit. I just want to make sure we're covering all the ground we can see. Like so. Okay. And then we want to make sure that this isn't on the areas we don't want it. So we're just going to go over with the same tool as before. And I've just noticed actually that the leg isn't correct. So I'm very quickly just going to fix that. I'm going to pick this color. I'm going to paint it down here. And I'm going to color over that and decrease the opacity a bit. Okay, looking good. So yeah, we want this ground to be done. Might even just do a hue change. Even a soft light. Yeah, I think soft light works better actually. Maybe with a hue change. No, I think just the soft light of that colour over the whole image, and we'll just remove a bit of that in the background. We'll keep a bit. There we go. And we want to make sure it's not covering our kangaroo. I think it's fine on the boots, because it will be on the boots anyway, likely. Same on the kangaroo's feet. We won't worry too much about this colour overlaying on that. There we go. That looks pretty good. That looks pretty good actually. Okay, next thing we want to get this green from the plants and paint that over the plants in the background here. I'm going to save myself time and just do it with a lower opacity brush, I think. Again, we might do soft light instead of this. And you want variety. You'd never want to have the same colour over the whole image because it looks like crap. So I'm going to do that. Add a bit of this darker green as well. Like so. And I'm just going to blur it. And again, we're going to make sure it's not on the subject. Like so. Okay. It's pretty good. The final thing is the sky. We want a nice vibrant blue sky. So we'll do that, and then it will be up to the last step. In fact, we can do this with a cheeky method. By copying an earlier version of the image, selecting actually we can threshold it first. Selecting highlights, like so. And then adding it to that colour layer so it doesn't cover the trees. So we're going to do that as a colour. No, we're gonna do that as this. Sorry about this. Just deciding what I want to do with the sky here. So I'm going to do a colour overlay and then we're going to blur it slightly. That's the plan. like that. So here is our image. If I just duplicate this layer. Sorry about this. Just wondering what's happened to the there we go. It was this blur copy which was covering everything up. So we're going to just convert that to a smart object, and there you have it. Okay, so this is our finished color, and there's one more step, which is finishing touches. So I don't love to do that in this software. I actually, just before we even do that, I kind of want to make his shorts and towel just slightly whiter. Like so. There we go. And then we're going to just overlay that like so. So yes, this is going to be the this is going to be the finished color. And so the last step I like to do on any image is to load up another piece of software called Luminar Neo. In which I often do my post-processing on photos. It's not quite as powerful as, in some ways, as Photoshop. But in others, it's a lot more, what's the word? It's a lot easier to do quite big color changes and apply apply loots and make lighting changes and things like that. So it's also got quite a handy AI sky editing feature, so we might play with that a bit as well. So let me just save this image, and then I'll show you Luminar Neo. When it loads. Like with everything else, it seems to be crashing because having problems doing streaming at the same time as everything else. While we're waiting, I will actually just save the Photoshop document as well as a backup in case it just crashes.